At number 10 is Ariana Grande. The pop princess got her start acting on the Nickelodeon show Victorious. Over the years, Grande has taken over the music world with countless chart toppers. Like any other woman in Hollywood, rumors surrounding the singer's alleged diva behavior have been going around. Grande even combated the mean girl claims on an Australian radio show that the rumors are not true and that her fans, family, and friends know who she is, and that's all that matters. That being said, we all remember the time when the singer licked a donut in a cafe without purchasing it, so she definitely does have some mischievous behavior in there somewhere. One person who disagrees that the diva rumors are just rumors is E! News correspondent Juliana Rancic. She once said about Grande, "I think she does have a little bit of diva thing going on. I think it was actually at the AMAs, she came up on the platform and normally I stand on the left of the camera. I had to fight 13 years to get this side of the camera. It's my good side, okay? Little Ariana comes over, I feel an elbow in my side, I'm like, what's going on? And she pushes me to the other side. Funny thing to be fighting over, but as Grande famously sang, I want it, I got it." And number 9, Jeremy Piven. The actor is known for his role as Ari Gold in the series Entourage, for which he won a Golden Globe and 3 consecutive Emmy Awards for. Along with his list of awards is a list of time Piven was not so pleasant to be around. One story comes from an event put on for the charity Face Forward. In 2018, Piven was said to have left attendees of the Hollywood charity event stunned when his jokes didn't land, and then he yelled at the audience for their lack of response. The event was being held for survivors of domestic misconduct, and apparently when his jokes were not well received by the audience, the actor reportedly went into a bit of a rant saying, "This is a tough room, by the way. Tough room. I just decided I'm doing a 2-hour set because you're not giving me love, so F you all." Piven allegedly eventually decided to call time on his act, telling the crowd, "I just decided to retire based on this applause." One attendee told Mail Online he was surrounded by women who had been through trauma at the hand of their partners. The mood in the crowd was one of defiance, but he seemed to treat the night as some kind of tryout for his stand-up work, and it fell flat. Maybe he should stick to acting because clearly he doesn't do well with a live audience. At number 8, Ellen DeGeneres. She previously was known for her kindness on her talk show, The Ellen Show, but in recent years she has pulled a complete 180. BuzzFeed News put out an article labeling DeGeneres a bully and naming her as the culprit for creating a toxic work environment. 10 former employees anonymously gave their true thoughts about the host in the article. The article also detailed issues of microaggression and racist behavior from those close to DeGeneres. Of course, when these allegations came out, Ellen apologized for any hurt that had been caused, promising to do better. Now Ellen has gone from being the queen of kindness to one of the meanest celebs in Hollywood. The former employees mentioned things like being fired after taking medical leave and being instructed not to speak to DeGeneres should they come across her. One employee even claimed to essentially have walked off the job after becoming fed up with comments about her race. Recently, a clip from the talk show has been going around of a clearly uncomfortable Taylor Swift as a guest being asked to play a game that involves identifying men she had dated. Back then, outlets were incessant on talking to Swift about her exes, and she found it extremely uncomfortable. In this recent viral clip, the singer is visibly uncomfortable, but DeGeneres just keeps pushing her. At number 7, Mike Myers. The actor went from being a cast member on Saturday Night Live, known for his silly characters, to starring as those silly characters on the big screen. With all of his success and spin-offs over the years, people are now left asking, where the heck did Mike Myers go? In a 2014 interview with GQ, Myers revealed that he'd only received 15 scripts since 1991. One thing that definitely bruised his reputation was when his live-action Cat in the Hat co-star Amy Hill described her time working with him as a horrible, nightmarish experience. In a 2016 interview with the AV Club, Hill said, "I don't think he got to know anybody. He'd just be with his people and walk away. People would come up and he'd just stand there." That's what divas are like, I guess, or people who need therapy. Hill's experience with Myers on set definitely didn't help bring in the offers, but it's not the only thing that turned studios off of him. The 2008 box office failure that was The Love Guru also contributed. The cast was full of big stars, but compared to a budget of $62 million, excluding advertising, the movie only grossed around $40 million. While the film did flop in the end, Myers has said acting is more about the passion than the paycheck. Number 6, Jennifer Lopez. In December 2022, Lopez was exposed on TikTok for not being quite as real and down to earth as she might want you to think. If the series of videos from the app are true, the humble woman from the Bronx is long gone. There was a viral TikTok going around the app prompting people to share a time a celebrity was rude to them. One celebrity's name seemed to be brought up over and over, even more than Ellen DeGeneres, who prompted the trend in the first place. One woman recalled the time when she was working at a Foot Locker and apparently Lopez cussed her out when the store didn't have have the right size of shoes that she wanted for her kids. Another woman said she worked as a maid in a house where Lopez once came to stay. While there, a nail tech was called to give Lopez a pedicure in bed. If you think that's a bit lazy, just wait. The nail artist allegedly had to complete the manicure upside down because the star was laying on her stomach and refused to flip over. There are tons of other stories out there about her being extremely demanding and horrible to people, including workers who are there to provide her with a service for her benefit. Maybe J-Lo needs to have a conversation with Jenny from the block. At number 5, Toby Maguire. He is known for playing Spider-Man in the first live-action movie that was released in 2002. Along with Spider-Man, Maguire also has a reputation for being difficult to work with. In 2017, the film Molly's Game was released based on the memoirs of Molly Bloom. Michael Cera's character Player X is believed to be based on several celebrity gamblers, including Leonardo DiCaprio and Toby Maguire. The character is portrayed as an extremely unpleasant man, which led to question about Maguire's real-life behavior. The book that they based the film on is even more direct, with the author making it clear that Maguire was very difficult to work with while playing poker. In fact, during a high-stakes poker game in 2014 hosted by Molly Bloom, Maguire purposely embarrassed her in front of other big-name celebs. Apparently, he offered Bloom a $1,000 poker chip if she barked like a seal. It was soon revealed that this was part of a plot to take control of the poker game. On top of that, there are other on-set stories and run-ins with the paparazzi to highlight his rude behavior. At number 4, Jamie Lee Curtis. Following in the footsteps of her parents Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee has appeared in countless movies over the years. She got her start in the Halloween franchise, starring in the most recent installment just last year. Along with her successes have come some stories of the actor being not the nicest over the years. One particular instance was when Curtis first met her Knives Out co-star Ana de Armas. On the set in 2019. Apparently, upon first meeting the actor, Curtis assumed that Armas was inexperienced and unsophisticated. Armas, who is a Cuban actor, has talked about feeling out of place on American sets already, though Curtis, I'm sure, was no help with her preconceived ideas. Luckily, Curtis was able to see her mistake and said, "I assumed, and I say this with real embarrassment, because she had come from Cuba, that she had just arrived. I assumed, and I say this with real embarrassment, because she had come from Cuba, that she had just arrived, I made an assumption that she was an inexperienced, unsophisticated young woman." Armas quickly put Curtis in her place, but what an assumption to come to in the first place on Curtis's part. At number 3, Christina Aguilera. The singer has got pipes like no other artist. She rose to mainstream fame in the late 90s with hits like Genie in a Bottle and What a Girl Wants. Aguilera quickly became the definition of a pop star, and with the voice and the look came the attitude. There are a few stories out there from other celebs talking about the singer having some major mean girl behavior. One of these celebrities is none other than Mary J. Blige. During a radio interview, Blige made it clear whose side she was on when it came to the Britney or Christina debate. Apparently, Blige was not a fan of the way she was greeted by Aguilera when they met for the very first time. Blige said, "I don't like her because she has a nasty attitude. I was trying to greet her properly and she stuck her hand out for me to kiss it. Not a great first impression." Blige then said, "Oh, okay, you're headed down the wrong path already." Then Blige added, "A message for Christina. Britney Spears can't sing like you, but she will go further than you because she knows how to respect and treat her people." Blige ended her story by calling Aguilera nasty once again before adding that she's heard the same thing about Aguilera from others. I guess with the talent and the look that Christina has, she doesn't need a good attitude. At number 2, Chevy Chase. The actor got his start on the very first season of Saturday Night Live, where his recurring weekend update segment became a staple of the show. Over the years, more and more stories have come out about Chase being rude or difficult to work with. One particular project where Chase caused a lot of problems on set was the series Community. The show was released in 2009 and had a great cast, including Alison Brie, Joel McHale, and Donald Glover. Community creator Dan Harmon opened up and talked about just how troubling it was to work with Chase on set. One time, Chase went as far as refusing to film a key touching scene between his character and Danny Purdy's because he didn't like the direction of it and just walked off set. Chase's problematic behavior didn't stop at refusing to film certain scenes. In a 2018 interview with The New Yorker, both Harmon and Donald Glover opened up about the incidents that happened on the set. Apparently, Chase was no stranger to dropping racial slurs and offensive language, and this is what ultimately led to his departure. His final straw came when filming season 4, episode 6. Chase did not like where the story was going, his character's arc in particular, and he used yet another racial slur in his angry rant about it. Both the actor and the network mutually agreed that it would be better if he left the series, and so he did. And coming in at number 1 today, Faye Dunaway. The actor made her debut on the big screen in 1967 with the films Hurry Sundown, The Happening, and Bonnie and Clyde. Over the years, she has gained herself a reputation of being a great actor, but she's also known for being a major diva. Her attitude even ended up getting her sued by a former assistant in 2019. Michael Rocha alleged in a lawsuit that the actress was verbally inappropriate to him when he worked for her on the Broadway play Tea at 5. Rocha said that he was hired as a personal assistant for the actor and his duties included shopping for her, arranging her schedule, and getting her to and from rehearsals, all while working out of Dunaway's apartment in NYC. Rocha, who is gay, claimed that Dunaway relentlessly subjected him to demeaning rants. The former assistant alleged that she called her crew members little gay people and called Rocha a little homosexual boy. He reported the incident to a general manager, and a month later Rocha was fired because Dunaway wasn't, quote, comfortable with him anymore. In the end, Dunaway was fired from the play as well after crew members claimed she created a hostile and dangerous work environment. At number 10, Rick Ross. On The Late Late Show with James Corden, he has a game called Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts, in which his guests have to either answer a question that could potentially get them in a bit of trouble or eat a bit of something nasty. 3 years ago, Corden was playing the game with actress Demi Moore. She asked him to name one celebrity who's disappointed him. Of course, as a talk show host, he didn't want to hurt any feelings, but since he was looking down at a mayo, cheese curd, and soy sauce smoothie, he decided to answer. The host explained his answer by telling Moore and the viewers that in the early days of the show, Corden had come up with a musical spoof about binge-watching Netflix to the tune of Ross's hit song Hustlin'. The men were supposed to be performing the song, but I guess before they could, he had a change of heart. Corden said, "We sent the stuff to Rick's people and Rick had seen it, loved it, and was so excited to do it." But then Corden and a crew member did the routine for Rick in the empty studio for the rapper to watch. Following that, Ross said, "Cool, I'm just gonna go to the restroom." Corden said about 20 minutes later, "We just stood there and he hadn't come back." Turns out Ross decided to leave and his manager came back to say, "Yeah, Rick's not gonna do that." At number 9, Pierce Brosnan. I guess James Corden's Fill Your Guts or Spill Your Guts game is effective because Rick Ross wasn't the only star he called out on his show. During the segment this time, however, guest Khloe Kardashian asked the host, "Name a celebrity who's been rude to you at a party." Initially, Corden was hesitant to answer the question, but you could tell a name came to his mind right away. Of course, being on the audience's side, Kardashian encouraged the host to spill. Finally, he caved and named actor Pierce Brosnan. The story goes that apparently at a U2 concert, Brosnan bumped into the host and his wife, but never apologized. Corden went on to explain, saying, "I've literally never felt anything like it. His arm went onto mine and just pushed me out of the way." Corden then added that he looked back at Brosnan and he didn't even glance at him, just moved back into his area just like that. Kardashian then suggested that he might have been drunk, to which Corden responded with, "Maybe he's just a bit rude." Mistake or not, next time Brosnan bumps into someone, he'll make sure it's not a late night host. That being said, Corden is one to talk, considering not too long ago he was banned from a restaurant for his rude behavior. At number 8, Cardi B. It's no secret that the rapper from New York is not afraid to fight. If you get on Cardi's bad side, there's no telling what she might say or do to you. One person who found out fast was her Love and Hip Hop New York castmate, Aisha Davies. Cardi joined the cast of the reality show, which follows the lives and relationships of hip-hop artists in its 6th season. During a reunion episode, Cardi ended up being exposed for her rude behavior, with Aisha Davies being her target. Basically, there was a lot of drama between the cast members, and neither Cardi nor Davies had been particularly nice to each other. It all started because Davies did not like Cardi but would not give her a specific reason as to why. When at the reunion, Davies kept further avoiding the question, so Cardi B took off her shoe and nailed Davies in the chest with it. A quick brawl broke out between everyone before settling once again. This was a heavy shoe too, and it looked like it really hurt. It ended up that Davies was jealous of her boyfriend hanging out with Cardi, but regardless of what it was about, the rapper displayed some serious rude behavior. Regardless of who was in the right, there was never a need for things to get physical. At number 7, Christina Aguilera. Like a lot of other stars on the list, there have actually been quite a few occasions and even other stars who have had something negative to say about Aguilera. One specific star that exposed her for being rude is none other than the diva herself, Mariah Carey. Aguilera, I guess, did it to herself after stating in 2006 that Carey had slammed her at a party. Aguilera also made it a point to bring up Carey's 2001 breakdown. Aguilera said, "One time we were at a party and I think she got really drunk and she just had really derogatory things to say to me." Then she added, "But it was at the time that she had that breakdown, so she might have been very medicated." Now, even if Carey did have something mean to say about her, it was not very woman-supporting woman of Aguilera. I'm not saying she has to support all women, but she also doesn't have to talk badly about her her on TV either. Of course, Carey did have something to say back, saying, "I'd hoped that Christina was in a better place now than the last time I saw her when she showed up uninvited at one of my parties and displayed questionable behavior." Aguilera wasn't done yet though, because in 2015, when asked about not having a Las Vegas residency, the singer responded, "I won a Grammy this year. Why would I go to Vegas and join Britney and Mariah in the Oldies Act?" At number 6, Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen had a bit of a scandal a few years ago when people started coming out and exposing her for not being as nice as she claims to be on the show. This was an especially damaging claim for DeGeneres because her literal tagline was, "Be kind to one another." Over the years, thanks to her own show, we can prove that the host has definitely had her fair share of rude moments. One moment that was particularly rude was when she made fun of a fan gift. DeGeneres was doing a segment on her show where she was talking about bad gifts that had been submitted by her viewers. At the end of the segment, she included a bad gift of her own, revealing a gift that she said was from a fan called JB. When she revealed the gift, it was a painting of both her and her wife Portia. The host joked, "It's called Ellen and Portia number 10. He took 10 tries, but he finally got it. He got it on number 10. DeGeneres threw a few digs at the painting, also indicating that it looked more like Ryan Seacrest and Kelly Ripa, saying she might have to gift it to them instead. To really drive home on how much she hated the handmade fan gift, she called it scary. And this is hardly the only time that she poked fun at her own viewers either. At number 5, Howard Stern. There have been countless times that Stern has exposed himself for being mean over the years, and I think hosting a live show has had a hand in that. Back in 2001, Stern had Freddie Prinze Jr. on the show, and he told the actor that his engagement and marriage to Sarah Michelle Gellar wouldn't last 10 years. Prinze and Gellar met on the set of famous horror flick I Know What You Did Last Summer and quickly became relationship goals within Hollywood. For some reason, Stern decided to share his thoughts on their relationship, which ended up being that they would spend a brief period of time sleeping together before going their separate ways. Stern was actually so confident in his own opinion that he put a large sum of money on the line. Stern bet Prinze $1 million that the couple wouldn't last long. In the interview, Stern said, "What are you gonna do when it's been 10 years with the same chick? You're gonna cheat." Despite the actor responding, "No, I'm not," to his quite rude assumption, Stern said, "I want to make a written bet with you now. In about 10 years, you're gonna hunt me down and go, 'Howard, I owe you money.'" Well, 10 years later, the couple is still together and they did not forget the bet. In 2022, Gellar took to Instagram to remind Stern of his debt, writing, "I think you owe us." At number 4, Mariah Carey. I mentioned the singer when talking about Aguilera being mean to her, but don't be fooled, Carey has had plenty of times where she was being exposed for her not so nice behavior too. One time, Carey was exposed for her rude behavior by her short-lived fellow American Idol judge, Nicki Minaj. The pair started as good friends, collaborating in 2009, with Minaj even praising her for being a sweet, down-to-earth person after expecting a diva. Minaj ended up speaking too soon because she eventually got a taste of that diva behavior. The women did not get along while both being judges on season 12 of American Idol. In 2013, the rapper opened up about her experience working with Carey, and it was totally different from her previous thoughts on Carey. Minaj spoke to Ellen DeGeneres, telling her that initially Minaj had heard that Carey did not want her on the panel, but she didn't believe it. However, when they did begin to work together, Minaj started to feel the shade, and that rumor she heard was sounding less and less like a rumor and more like a fact. Minaj even said that Carey overcompensated by being even crazier. Neither artist ended up returning to the show, and Fox executive Mike Darnell backed up Minaj when he said Minaj was not the problem, blaming Carey for the fighting. At number 3, Wendy Williams. The Wendy Williams show was on the air from 2008 all the way until 2022. That is 14 years of live TV talking with and about celebrities. With Williams, that also means 14 years of messy moments on the air. No one has ever had to come out and expose the host for her rude behavior because she does it all on her own. Williams once referred to actor Terry Crews coming forward and speaking out about his essay as not brave because he was just talking. Williams also once asked 18-year-old Marcus Scriber if he'd ever had sex before live on the show with the actor's father watching just off camera. He was clearly uncomfortable with the question and avoided giving the answer. Basically, Williams spent a decade making fun of the stars because the host also once made fun of Ariana Grande's appearance, claiming that because she's too small, she's not a woman. Williams said, "When you look too young and then you're short, she's only like 4'11", like I don't look at her as like a woman." Clearly, Williams has always truly said whatever comes to her mind, and unfortunately, it's often just mean. These examples don't even begin to scratch the surface either. At number 2, Barbara Walters. There seems to be a theme between celebrity interviews and the host not being nice. One woman known for her persistence for a story, even when inappropriate, is Barbara Walters. She has had many instances instances of being rude on air, but one particularly mean interview is her infamous one from 2000 with Ricky Martin. At the time, there were rumors going around surrounding Martin's sexuality. While so many people assumed Martin was gay, the singer did not go public about his sexuality until he published his 2011 memoir. During his interview with Walters, she urged Martin to stop these rumors and define his sexuality. Not only is it rude, it's just so unnecessary. I'm sure he had plenty of other things to talk about instead. Walters said, "You could say yes, I am gay, or no I'm not." Martin then replied, "Barbara, for some reason I just don't feel like it." Over 2 decades later in 2021, Martin said when she dropped the question, "I felt violated because I was just not ready to come out. I was very afraid." The singer also revealed that he suffers from PTSD stemming from the interview with Walters. There are plenty of other instances throughout her long career that Walters was exposed for being mean too. Ricky Martin is unfortunately just one of many. And at number 1, Madonna. Over the years, Cher and Madonna have not gotten along so well, and we know that because Cher has told us so on more than one occasion. When it comes to a few interviews though, I'm not sure which woman is being exposed for being mean. On one hand, Cher is telling us how rude Madonna is, and on the other hand, Cher is sitting on live TV trashing Madonna. Once, when asked about Madonna, Cher said, "There's something about her that I don't like. She's mean. I remember having her over to my house a couple times. She was just so rude to everybody. She acts like a spoiled brat all the time." Then directed towards Madonna, she said, "You should be a little more magnanimous and a little bit less of a C word." Of course, Cher used the actual word, and in doing so, shocked the interviewer. I mean, maybe she's totally right and Madonna was really rude to her, but then again, she's saying some pretty mean things to the world. In another interview, Cher said about Madonna, she's unbelievably creative because she's not unbelievably talented. She's not beautiful, but she's rude.
Starting off with number 10, Jared Leto. Since a few of you said that I should have included Jared Leto in my part 2, here he is in part 3. So this one is straight from his Mean Stars profile, which I talked a bit about before, where he has a few comments from people stating that they had really bad interactions with him. So one of the people on Mean Stars wrote, quote, "I went to see 30 Seconds to Mars a few years ago and got front row tickets. The band was autographing things after the show, so I waited in line. They all talked amongst themselves as they absentmindedly signed autographs. When I got to Jared Leto, I said, 'Hey, that was a great show.' He responded, quote, 'I signed your shit, now F off.'" Okay, what? This is just unreal to me. Like, I think I'm actually speechless about this one. Like, how could he actually say that to a fan? Jared, come on. Then next up at number 9, Michael Phelps. So Michael Phelps is another celebrity that is known for having quite a mean streak. And it's so bad that another athlete felt the need to call him out publicly about it. In an interview, Ronda Rousey was asked if there was an Olympian that wasn't very nice, but they had a public persona of being nice. Without hesitation, she replied, "Michael Phelps kind of annoyed me." Then she went on to tell a story of when she was in Beijing for the Olympics, and the American team was mingling together at a club. And she said the only Olympian that did not interact with the rest of the group was Phelps. Rousey commented further, saying, quote, "Michael Phelps needed his own private section of the club to be like private for him. All of these NBA players are a bigger deal than this guy, and they're hanging out with the rest of us." She added, "We're your teammates. We're not a bunch of groupies. Come hang out with us," she said. And then, since she did not already shade him enough, she continued that the same thing happened on the Oprah Winfrey show. When a bunch of Olympians were on the show, Phelps again was held back in a private area so that he wouldn't have to be harassed by the other Olympians. Then after all of this came out, Phelps spoke to Details magazine, where he admitted that he used to contrive early exits from practice and sneak out the back door, presumably so he could get to the club early and avoid running into Ronda Rousey. And guys, trust me when I say there is a lot more stories about Phelps. So yeah, I'm assuming he must be pretty mean in real life. Next up at number 8, Deadmau5. So this is another story from a Mean Stars profile. So this post is a bit on the longer side, so I'm gonna kind of summarize it. Basically, this person is a producer and he wanted to give a demo to Deadmau5. So he went to a show in his city, and after Deadmau5 was done performing, people formed a line for him to sign things. Then when it came down to this person's turn, he said, quote, "I don't have anything for you to sign, but I would like to say that you are an inspiration to me. So I'd like to share with you some of the music that I produced, which has been inspired by your production." And the person handed him the CD, and Deadmau5 looked super confused before he replied, quote, "This is a signing, not a demo showcase. Either I sign this or you mail it to me," the person stated. The person then stated, "I was taken aback by his rudeness and just shyly responded, 'I'd rather you keep it.'" He turned back to his tag-along friends and said, "Can you believe this guy?" while chuckling. His friends kind of awkwardly laughed along with him while giving me this awkward look as if to say, "I'm so sorry. I was so upset that I nearly punched the dude right there. I just walked away instead. I was so upset I felt ill." Then the person continued that he knows that getting handed demos must be kind of annoying, but he's given out a bunch of demos to people way more famous than deadmau5 and was always treated with respect. So yeah, this is really rude to me. Like, even if deadmau5 didn't end up doing anything with the CD, he could have still just taken it. Like, it would have been less effort than getting into this random argument in the middle of the signing, in my opinion. And at number 7, Jennifer Lawrence. So Jennifer Lawrence is another person that is well known for being rude to fans when seen out in public. And I'm absolutely confident that this one is true because she literally admitted it herself in an interview. In a video interview she did with Adam Sandler for Variety, she admitted that, quote, "Once I enter a public place, I become incredibly rude. I turn into a huge a-hole," she added, adding that it's her way of defending herself. She continued, quote, "They say, 'Can I have a selfie?' And I'm like, 'No,'" Jen said. And this is not the first time she's admitted to being very defensive when she runs into fans. In an interview with the Daily Telegraph, Jennifer echoed similar sentiments of fans feeling too close to her because she's a public person. She said, quote, "I think that people think that we are already friends because I'm famous and they feel like they already know me, but I don't know them." She said, "I have to protect my bubble. Like, I have a weird job. I don't let this be reality." And I can definitely like see where she's coming from here, as fans can definitely get really dangerous and they can be really scary encounters sometimes. For instance, if someone were to post a selfie of her, then everyone in the world potentially could know exactly where she is at that exact time. But I think there's still a way to be kind about the situation instead of being just an a-hole to people that literally just appreciate you, like just your fans. Next up at number 6, Cameron Diaz. So this one's on the shorter side, but apparently Cameron Diaz is well known for not giving autographs and being really rude to anyone that asks for one. One person commented on an interaction that they had with Diaz, saying, quote, "Cameron Diaz may be a talented actress, but she's persistently a terrible signer. Instead of just turning down a person's autograph request, she'll lecture them about how dumb autographs are." And this was all, of course, back in the day before selfies and pictures were the things that were asked of by celebrities. But wow, I can only imagine how much worse she would be now if someone asked for a picture instead of an autograph. Yikes, I would not want to be that person. Halfway through number 5, Justin Bieber. So since Justin has come out many times that he struggled with addiction and he's in a completely different place now, I'm going to consider this story about Justin being rude to fans kind of like past Justin, as I don't think he would do this sort of stuff today. But either way, the tea is piping hot here, so I still thought I'd include it with that little disclaimer added. So Justin a few years back got into a few scandals where it seemed like he was being disrespectful to his fans. One time was when allegedly a fan tried to get a selfie with Justin and he replied something about how her lack of respect for him made him sick. And then there was another time where he was accused of spitting on a group of fans that were gathered below his hotel balcony in 2013. But after he got a lot of backlash for doing this, one of his reps had to come out saying that people were not directly below him and he didn't actually spit on anyone. But the fact that he would even do a gesture like that to his fans below is kind of shady to me. And at number 4, Chevy Chase. So Chevy is another person who has a few stories that have given him a bad rep. And he actually has a pretty famous history among people in the industry of being difficult to work with. There are countless accounts of him being disrespectful to coworkers. So based off that, you can probably imagine he's not the nicest to fans either. Actor and comedian Rob Huebel is someone that shared their really terrifying encounter with Chase. Huebel said that he was a huge fan of Chase's and he went backstage to meet him at an Upright Citizens Brigade show. While he was telling Chase what a huge fan he was of his, allegedly Chase responded to this love by slapping the man so hard in the face that he saw red. What? And then after, Chevy tried to make a joke of it by saying, quote, "Can't you see I'm talking to someone, kid?" And I do want to say, in life, I really do like to believe there's always two sides to every story before I make a judgment on someone, but wow, this is probably the worst one I've ever heard, and I really don't know how you could even explain away why you slapped a fan. Like, this is probably the worst one on here. Then in at number 3, Christina Aguilera. So Christina is another person who has a bad rep among other celebrities. While Valerie Bertinelli was on Andy Cohen's Late Show, he asked her to spill the tea on why she did not like Christina Aguilera. Bertinelli clarified that she and Aguilera didn't have an all-out feud, but Aguilera did snub her at one of her ex-husband Eddie Van Halen's concerts. Bertinelli described the situation by saying, quote, "I was a fan at that time, and I went up to her because she was at a Van Halen concert. And I said, 'Oh my god, I think you're a beautiful singer.' And she just went like, 'Yeah, whatever.' She gave me the cold shoulder and I thought, bitch, I'm a fan. You couldn't just be nice to me." So yeah, clearly not a really friendly encounter. After Cohen asked Bertinelli if she's seen Aguilera since, she replied saying, quote, "I have not, no. But you know what? She might have gotten better, but I heard she hasn't." And I just love how she finished it off with that final burn. Like, oh my god, what a legend. Then in at number 2, Hugh Grant. So I included Hugh Grant on this list because he's yet another celebrity that has had some unsavory encounters with other celebrities, including Jon Stewart, who had banned Hugh Grant from his show, The Daily Show. Stewart admitted to this in a Q&A he did with Stephen Colbert. Well, he revealed that his show had some very controversial guests. Grant was the rudest person on the show. He said, quote, Grant was giving everyone shit the whole time, and he's a big pain in the ass. Stewart continued that while promoting his new film at the time, Did You Hear About the Morgans?, Grant openly griped about the clip chosen to run on the show. He said, quote, what is that clip? It's a terrible clip. Grant angrily asked, to which the host shot back, quote, well then make a better effing movie. Which is just so savage. Like, this is why I love him. But after this came out, Grant actually was pretty understanding about the whole situation and joked on Twitter that Stewart was correct to give him a kicking. So after that, I would hope that the incident was just sort of a one-off for Hugh Grant, and it seems that he's most likely changed since he's able to joke about it now, which is really good to see. And then up at number 1, Jennifer Lopez. So taking the top spot, we have J-Lo. And before doing this video, I had no idea that she had such a mean streak, but I literally found like a 20-page article online with all of the mean stuff that she has publicly done. So I can only imagine all the mean stuff she has done behind the scenes to people. One of the biggest things that have caused people to think she's mean in real life is the fact that she constantly talks shit about other actresses publicly. Among the names she has publicly dissed are huge stars like Gwyneth Paltrow, Winona Ryder, and Cameron Diaz. When speaking about these women, the common theme was that she did not think they are good actresses, and she didn't feel they deserved their success. Another strike on JLo's record is that she apparently does not talk to service people. Instead, she makes her assistants talk to them for her. This came out when a United Airlines attendant said he offered her a drink on flight, but JLo refused to answer and told her personal assistant to say to the flight attendant, please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and lime, instead of literally just telling him herself. Diva much? And the last thing that's probably not true, but I just found really funny, was that A-Rod, her now fiance, is allegedly terrified of J-Lo. She allegedly gave him a list of rules that he has to follow to be with her, and that he's been given an exact position of where to stand when they are on red carpets together, which is just hilarious. I doubt that one's true, but I just thought of course I had to include it.
And at number 10, Hailey Bieber. Hailey Bieber was called out by a TikTok influencer, Julia Carolan, when Julia made a video series exposing celebrities that were rude to her while she was working as a hostess at a popular Manhattan restaurant. In the video, she commented on Kylie Jenner and the Hadid sisters, and when it came to Hailey Bieber, she rated her interactions with Hailey to be a 3.5 out of 10. Saying in the TikTok, quote, this is gonna be controversial. I've met her a handful of times and she was not nice. I really wanna like her, but I give her like a 3.5 out of 10. Sorry. But most shockingly, Hailey actually responded in the comments of that TikTok, apologizing for the situation. Responding in the comments saying she's, quote, so sorry if she's ever given her bad vibes or a bad attitude. So it's hard to say if this was just a bad interaction or pattern of behavior, but it's great to see that Hailey apologized. And at number 9, Dobre Brothers. Last year, a video went viral of the Dobre Brothers meeting a fan at a meet and greet, and the video is honestly heartbreaking. The girl walks over to the group for her picture, and none of the people in the group even say one word to her. One of the brothers just lifts up his arm to put it around her for the picture, and the people in the group barely take the effort to even muster up a smile for this girl, who probably paid a lot of money to meet them. After the clip generated tons of outrage online, Lucas Dobre apologized, writing, quote, we just want to apologize. After a long 48 hours of restless filming and touring, then meeting thousands of fans with no sleep, we were exhausted by the end of our show. Our true apologies. We are sincerely sorry. But honestly, if you can't even crack a smile for people who paid to see you, you literally don't deserve fans. Like, I'm sorry, that's how I feel about that. And at number 8, D'Amelio sisters. The D'Amelio sisters were called out for being mean after they released a vlog style video where it looked like they were being rude to their personal chef. The video was a dinner with their family and a special guest who was revealed to be James Charles. The sisters were called out big time when their personal chef, Chef Aaron May, started serving their dinner. When the paella was served, Dixie picked something up and made disgusting faces as she tried to figure out what it was. We learned later that it was a snail. And instead of just, putting it down like an adult should do, she proceeded to make gagging noises. Then she actually ended up puking right at the table like it was nothing. After all that happened, Charlie then asked her mom for dino nuggets, because from her facial expressions, it looked like she was not enjoying the dinner at all. And then on top of it all, the sisters were incredibly cringy and awkward in their own YouTube video. And the entire video was just mostly James and the parents talking. And at number 7, James Charles. After James Charles called out the Dobre Brothers for how horribly they treated their fans, some former fans called called out James for his bad behavior towards them. A now deleted TikTok tells the story. Apparently the fans were at the airport when they saw James, and when they tried to go over and talk to him, James's manager told them that he was too busy to talk. According to the fan, James didn't even look up from his laptop to acknowledge them. The fan said, quote, he didn't even have the decency to literally look up at us and at least say hi or I'm sorry I'm busy. But James told his side of the story to Keemstar, saying that he didn't know the fans wanted a photo because they never actually asked for one. They were mainly just taking pictures of James from afar, with James adding that he sad a fan had a bad interaction with him. And at number 6, Summer McKeen. Summer McKeen was called out when leaked videos surfaced from her Finsta page showing mean behavior. Several of these videos included her laughing and making fun of fan-edited videos. There were also videos leaked that showed her using racist language. The whole thing is really worse when you consider that these fans took the time out of their own days to make these edits of them, and then they were being mocked. There was also another video of Summer and Hannah Maloche making fun of a fellow influencer who had gone on a brand trip with them in the past. All in all, the videos that leaked were polar opposite of who fans thought that Summer was, and it was hard for a lot of people to see her the same way after. Halfway at number 5, Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star was called mean and a bully after he called out a fan on his Twitter. It all started when Jeffree congratulated someone on getting a job at Ulta Beauty, with the fan saying that she was starting the day Jeffree's collab with Morphe was coming out. And it's a very common thing in the makeup community for fellow artists to promote themselves under huge gurus' tweets. So one fan took this opportunity and replied to the tweet with a picture of a makeup look that they were really proud of. But Jeffree did not like this and decided to publicly call out the fan for, quote, making this about themselves. In the slew of tweets, Jeffree called out the fan for their frequent promos on his posts and told the fan to stop making things about themselves. The fan replied on their own Twitter, devastated by the interaction, and said that they had spent hundreds of their hard-earned dollars supporting Jeffree. And honestly, I don't think there's ever a reason to call out a fan publicly like that. In at number 4, Gabby Hannah. Gabby Hannah was called out when she privately DM'd someone on Twitter who accused her of doing something horrible to her former friend Jessie Smiles. When the fan's tweet that was critical of Gabby started going viral, Gabby decided to DM that person on Twitter and gaslight the fan into changing their views on Gabby. Many said that the behavior was toxic and manipulative. They also called her out for using her power dynamic here to silence the fan and get them to delete the tweet that was calling out Gabby. Gabby later apologized, but many stated that this was not the first time that she tried to gaslight people into taking her side of things. In at number 3, Willy Wonka TikTok. Massive TikToker Willy Wonka TikTok, real name Duke Depp, was called out last year after he called a super fan annoying. The fan named Autumn Salazar dedicated her account to being the counterpart to Duke's account, calling herself Miss Wonka. But she decided to call him out publicly after she discovered that he called her annoying in private messages, with him adding, quote, I don't want to give her any attention. She begs for me to notice and follow her every single day. Apparently, he also reported her account to TikTok and forced her to change her username because Duke wanted to be the only Willy Wonka related account. Autumn responded to all of this saying, quote, this is so rude that you report your #1 fan that has been here since day one. After the scandal, Duke's account was flooded with hate, but he claims Autumn was lying. But honestly, it's hard to refute screenshots like that. In at number 2, Lele Pons. Lele Pons, formerly the world's #1 Viner, got in a massive scandal when it came out that she tried to take down one of her best friends because Lele saw this friend as competition. This friend was Amanda Cerny, and Amanda exposed Lele when she realized Lele was trying to destroy her career. Apparently, Lele knew the code to Amanda's phone for months and would use it to delete Amanda's most popular Instagram pictures and videos. Lele also deleted Amanda's first YouTube video twice. Pons then used her massive platform to accuse Amanda of deleting her content, and that was the reason why they weren't friends anymore, when it was actually the complete opposite situation. And this clearly proves that Lele will do anything to stay on top. And lastly, at number 1, Jake Paul. Unsurprisingly, the top of this list is Jake Paul. Jake Paul is known as the internet's wild child, which he has now made his official brand, calling himself the, quote, problem child. When he started Team 10, he moved his teenage friends into a huge house in Los Angeles, but he caused so many problems for neighbors that they all band together to get him kicked out of that house. Jake has also been called out for being toxic and manipulative by past girlfriends like Alyssa Violet and Tana Mojo. Both women felt that they had been played by Jake in the relationship, and while these women were with Jake because they actually loved him, Jake was only with the women for views and clout.
Chrissy Teigen has returned to social media to apologize for her past hateful tweets that she sent to Courtney Stodden. The former model is claiming that she was simply a troll and that now she is dealing with a crushing weight of regret. I'm gonna get into all those details in just a moment, but first, if you could do us a big favor, please tap that like button, we'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's begin. As I mentioned, Chrissy Teigen has has broken her silence recently after being accused of bullying a then teenager on Twitter back in 2011. In a post on the blog site Medium, Chrissy left a lengthy apology that began with, "Hi all, it has been a very humbling few weeks. I know I've been quiet and Lord knows you don't want to hear about me, but I want you to know I've been sitting in a hole of deserved global punishment, the ultimate sit here and think about what you've done. Not a day, not a single moment has passed where I haven't felt the crushing weight of regret for the things I've said in the past." She then goes on to say, "As you know, a bunch of my old awful tweets resurfaced. I'm truly ashamed of them. As I look at them and understand the hurt they caused, I have to stop and wonder, how could I have done that?" For those of you who don't know, back in May, media personality Courtney Stodden, who uses they them pronouns, called out Teigen for bullying them on Twitter. While speaking with the Daily Beast, Courtney told the news outlet, "She wouldn't just publicly tweet about wanting me to take a dirt nap, but would privately DM me and tell me to kill myself. Things like, I can't wait for you to die." Courtney, who is now 26 years old, first hit the media spotlight after marrying 50-year-old actor Doug Hutchinson when they were just 16 years old. However, I must also add that the couple recently divorced in 2020. And again, according to Chrissy herself, it's not just Courtney that she owes an apology to. She then goes on to say in her apology letter, "I've apologized publicly to one person, but there are others and more than just a few who I need to say I'm sorry to. I'm in the process of privately reaching out to the people I insulted. It's like my own version of that show, My Name is Earl. I understand that they may not want to speak to me. I don't think I'd like to speak to me. The real truth in all of this is how much I actually cannot take confrontation, but if they do, I am here and I will listen to what they have to say while apologizing through sobs," adding, "There's simply no excuse for my past horrible tweets. My targets didn't deserve them, no one does. Many of them needed empathy, kindness, understanding, and support, not my meanness masquerading as a kind of casual, edgy humor. I was a troll, full stop, and I am so sorry." Little weird that she refers to her victims as targets, but okay, to each their own, I guess. Chrissy Teigen's Twitter popularity really began to grow over the last 4 years because she was so outspoken about former US President Donald Trump. However, in March, she decided to briefly delete her Twitter account after saying that it no longer serves a positive purpose in her life. Although just a month later, she was back on the platform and back to sending out her usual tweets. Upon returning, she tweeted, "Turns out it feels terrible to silence yourself and also no longer enjoy belly chuckles randomly throughout the day and also lose like 2,000 friends at once," adding, "I choose to take the bad with the good." In her apology, Chrissy also noted that when she started using social media, she had a lot of fun with it and that she believed she could simply use it to tell jokes, make random observations, and snark at the occasional celebrity. However, when you're not happy with yourself, it becomes much more difficult to navigate the murky waters of social media. Chrissy Teigen then goes on to say, "In reality, I was insecure, immature, and in a whole world where I thought I needed to impress strangers to be accepted. If there was a pop culture pile-on, I took to Twitter to try to gain attention and show off what I at the time believed was a crude, clever, harmless quip. I thought it made me cool and relatable if I poked fun at celebrities." Chrissy then goes on to say that now, since being confronted with some of the things that she has said, she cringes to her core. She now realizes that words have consequences and that there are real people behind the Twitter handles that she went after. She admits that she wasn't just attacking some random avatar, but rather hurting young women. She then closes off her letter by saying, "I won't ask for your forgiveness, only your patience and tolerance. I ask that you allow me, as I promised to allow you, to own past mistakes and be given the opportunity to seek self-improvement and change." And for those of you who want to read the full apology letter, I will be sure to put a link for you down in the description below. Now, on the flip side of all of this, Courtney Stodden posted an image on Instagram alleging that Chrissy Teigen had blocked them. They captioned the photo with, "I accept her apology and forgive her, but the truth remains the same. I have never heard from her or her camp in private. In fact, she blocked me on Twitter. All of me wants to believe this is a sincere apology, but it feels like a public attempt to save her partnerships with Target and other brands who are realizing her wokeness is a broken record." You see, just when you start feeling like someone has made amends, there can always be an ulterior motive. That being said, Chrissy did say in her letter, "I'm telling you this for context, not seeking or deserving any sympathy. There's no justification for my behavior. I'm not a victim here. The subjects of your sympathy and mine should be those I put down," adding, "The truth is, I'm no longer the person who wrote those horrible things. I grew up, got therapy, got married, had kids, got more therapy, experienced loss and pain, got more therapy and experienced more life, and got more therapy."